You didn't cancel plans because you were tired. You canceled because the thought of getting dressed, driving there, making small talk, laughing at the right moments, and then driving home, all of it felt like more than you could give. And the moment you sent that text, relief. Not guilt first, relief first. You've spent a Saturday alone and called it the best day you've had in weeks. You've sat in a loud room full of people you like and still felt completely alone.
You've looked at your phone, seen a call coming in from someone you care about, and let it ring. Not because you don't love them, because you just needed quiet. And you've never quite known how to explain that to people who don't feel it. Stay until the end, because what you're about to learn might change how you see yourself.
People have probably called you distant, maybe a little cold, hard to reach. Someone who doesn't like people. And maybe you've started to believe it. Maybe you've wondered if something is subtly wrong with you, if you're broken in some small social way. But here's what psychology actually says. You probably learned this early. At some point in childhood, the world around you felt very loud, not necessarily in a dramatic way. Maybe it was a home that was always buzzing with other people's emotions. Maybe you were the kid who noticed everything, every tension at the dinner table, every shift in a parent's mood. You learned to read rooms before you learned to read books, and at some point, your nervous system made a decision. Solitude is safe. When you're alone, you don't have to manage anyone else's feelings. You don't have to perform. You don't have to translate yourself. You can just exist. Carl Jung called this type of person introverted, not shy, not antisocial, but someone who draws energy inward rather than outward. But it goes deeper than that. Research on highly intelligent individuals consistently shows one thing. They are more sensitive to stimulation, more input coming in, more processing happening, more energy spent simply navigating a world that was calibrated for people who think less deeply than you do. Your need for alone time wasn't a withdrawal from life. It was your mind asking for the space it needs to function at its best. There's a concept in psychology called the stimulus overload theory. It was developed to explain why some people reach their social limit much faster than others. The idea is simple. The brain can only process so much at once, and the more sophisticated your processing system, the faster it fills up. Think of it like RAM on a computer. A basic machine can run a few programs without slowing down. But a high-performance machine running complex operations needs more memory, more cooling, more space. Your brain isn't antisocial, it's high performance. A landmark study by Satoshi Kanazawa and Norman Lee at the London School of Economics found that highly intelligent people reported lower life satisfaction the more time they spent socializing. Not because connection doesn't matter to them, but because their minds are engaged in something that requires sustained, uninterrupted attention, and socializing pulls them away from it. In other words, your brain wasn't rejecting people. It was protecting your ability to do the thinking only you can do. Here is what most people never understand about you. While most people feel most alive in the middle of a crowd, you feel most alive in the middle of a thought, a real one, a long one, the kind that takes you somewhere unexpected. You are not someone who struggles to connect. You are someone who connects differently, deeply, selectively, and with full presence when you choose to show up. That's not a social deficit. That's a rare kind of intimacy. The world is full of people who are never alone with themselves, who fill every silence with noise, every moment with distraction, who haven't sat quietly with their own thoughts in years. You know yourself in a way most people never will. And that kind of self-knowledge, it's not given, it's earned, as in exactly the kind of silence you keep choosing. But there's a difference between solitude and hiding. One restores you, the other slowly shrinks your world. If you notice that being alone has stopped feeling like rest and started feeling like avoidance, that's worth paying attention to. Not with judgment, just with honesty. The goal isn't to be alone. The goal is to know yourself well enough to choose clearly when to be. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are not someone who failed at being social. You are someone whose mind runs deeper than the world has made room for. And you found a way to protect that depth. Every hour you've spent alone wasn't wasted. It was you quietly becoming someone worth knowing. I want to ask you something in the comments. When did you first realize you needed more solitude than the people around you? And how did that make you feel at the time? And if this video gave you language for something you felt but never been able to explain, This channel exists for exactly that. Subscribe so you never lose that feeling of being understood. And next, why the people who overthink everything might actually be the most emotionally intelligent people in the room. You're going to want to see that one.